What's up, y'all? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Married to Medicine Season 9, Part 2 of the reunion. I think it was a pretty decent part. It was pretty decent, so let's get into it. Okay, so this isn't really like a spicy corner, more like a pinch of salt. But I did watch the interview that Funky Dineva did with Dr. Contessa on his channel. I'll post a screenshot of what the thumbnail of the video looks like, so you can go check it out. Still have a lot of questions, but I do think Contessa cleared up a few things for me and gave context to why she's so angry. I still think that it's blame on both parts, but you should check it out. There's also a interview/review with House of Aaron and Dr. Heavenly. It's on Dr. Heavenly's channel. I'm gonna check that out after I do this review. I heard some things about it and I want to see if the things I've heard are true, but definitely check out both videos. So let's get into the review. All right, y'all. So the episode opens up where it left off, where we have Andy asking Anila, do you believe Toya had anything to do with the robbery? And Anila hesitates, but she says no. And then you have Quad saying, well, that's that on that. And I'm like, Quad, shut up. But here's my thing. I think Anila does feel like Toya might have had something to do with the whole situation. And I just think Anila is too much of a coward to stand in it. I think she realizes that the optics don't vibe well in her favor. So now she's trying to ease off of it, because it does make Anila look stupid that you're hanging out with somebody you think was trying to rob you. Like, if I thought anybody around me meant to like steal from me, we would not be friends. I would not be going on trips with you. I would not be hanging out with you. I would not be trying to develop a friendship with you. I would push it to the side, yo. Like, I would be like, don't talk to me, lady. Don't talk to me. Because my thing is, like, I could get how Anila would think that that's what happened. I'm not too, like, dense to not think that. You get into it with this lady at a party 2 days before your robbery. Her homegirl that came with her, named Miss Carmitha, allegedly mushes you in the face and pushes you to the ground because you got the yakking, and the lady said, pipe down. Then you have Carrie, who Toya trying to act like she don't know, but girl, that was your friend that you kept bringing around. All of a sudden, she tells everyone that Toya told her that 2 days before the robbery happened that there was a hit out on your house. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I don't see how Anila could think that Toya would do something like that. But it was just like, if Anila really felt that way, she just should have had the balls enough to go up to Toya and be like, hey, this is what I'm hearing from people. This is how I'm feeling. I'm asking you, like, woman to woman, person to person, did you have anything to do with this? I don't want to feel like you did, but I'm feeling, and I'm like, all this stuff is going on. I feel like maybe you might have. But Anila doesn't want to stand in that. She wants to scapegoat Heavenly and Quad in it, more specifically Quad. And it's like, girl, that's weak. You're weak. You should have just stood in it. You shouldn't have been a coward. Or if you really felt that way and you didn't have enough guts to stand in it, you should have just kept it to yourself. So they move on and they start talking about Audra. I think Audra is probably going to come back. In what capacity, I don't know. Maybe a friend of, more so, because it does seem like the ladies really like her. And she did in some way add to the cast, and she's a lot younger. I think she still would be considered a millennial compared to everybody else, but she brings some type of good energy to the show now that she's not up Heavenly's ass. So we see they talk about her, but she couldn't be there because we know Audra is pregnant. I don't know if she had her baby, but she probably did because this was filmed like a while ago. But they start to talk about the medicine aspect of Married to Medicine. One thing about Married to Medicine that people really enjoy is that aspect of the show, is the medicine, is seeing actual Black doctors or doctors of color working in their field. They begin to speak about the health disparity between Black women when it comes to like the birth rates and dying during childbirth. We're considered the rate is considered the level of a third world country when it comes to the women are black women dying during childbirth, and it's mainly due to racism. People believe that black women are lying about the pain that they're in, or they can handle more pain that they're letting on. Either way, even if you thought somebody was lying or you felt like that person could handle more pain, you as a physician, your job is to eliminate pain. So why would you want somebody to continually go through pain? Doesn't make sense because it's racist. So they talk about that. They give the Serena story. And if you haven't heard, basically Serena Williams, after giving birth to her daughter, was suffering from a pulmonary embolism. She had had one before. She voiced her concerns to the doctor. They were ignored until her husband spoke up, until she spoke up again. And then they found out that she was having one. And that is wild. Then they talked about Roe v. Wade being overturned and how everyone is upset and disappointed. They talked about how this would affect black women and people of color and those communities more, and how it's wrong. They then get to Heavenly, because Heavenly is a woman of like staunch faith, and she talks about how she doesn't know if she would ever get an abortion, and she doesn't feel like she would, but she doesn't think it is the right of others to choose what a woman can do with her body, which that's true. You cannot believe in something and still know for a fact that it is not your right to dictate how people should move, especially when it's their body and how they should maneuver. And that's just that on that. They then get to the Toya segment. They begin to talk about Toya and how Toya has been going through ups and downs. They talk about her moving like she trying to outrun the IRS, moving to 6 different houses, and they just express how, what's going on with you, sis? What is going on? They then talk about how she's been dealing with her marriage with Eugene, as well as the situation where the rumor going around that she's sleeping with a married man. We then see the men have arrived, and everyone is like, what we getting into? Are we ready for this part of the reunion? So they talk about Toya. Here's my thing with Toya. Toya begins to cry because she starts talking about how she's not feeling as lonely as she had been before, but she still feels lonely in her marriage. That's a cold feeling to feel. And my thing about Toya is, Toya needs something to do. I'm not saying Toya needs to get a job, but I'm saying she needs to get a hobby. Because when Toya was doing tennis and she was a part of the tennis team, she seemed like she was a lot more happy because she had something to do. She had other people to connect with. Because Toya is not the only housewife in her neighborhood, but because of something that happened in the neighborhood and the people don't like Toya, she's now on an island by herself. And that oftentimes happens. If you think about it, she's at home by herself. She doesn't have a job. She doesn't have any hobbies. You do start to get lonely because and like they said, the idle mind is the devil's playground. You ain't got nothing to do. You start to get lonely. You start to compare yourself to other people doing other things, and you're wondering like, what is wrong with me? So I feel like if Toya had a hobby, or even did what Anila does, which is blogging or whatever, she would be a lot more fulfilled in her life. And yet it would cull her loneliness. It would not take the place of wanting to be closer to Eugene in a sense, but it would not take away her loneliness. It would cut it in half per se. So they start talk about, before they got there, Toya talked about how she wanted Jackie to be there more for her. And my thing about Jackie and Toya's relationship is, I don't know if Jackie really likes Toya. I don't know where Jackie puts Toya in the friendship category, because the way I see friendships is you have your best friends / cousins. As black people, when you got a best friend, no matter what color they are, what race, if y'all really ride hard for each other, you start to tell people that's your cousin. But it goes best friend, cousins, then close friends, and then friends, then acquaintances. And I don't know if Jackie considers Toya an acquaintance or a friend. I don't think they are close friends. I don't think they're best friends. I think they're still in the category of friends. And I don't think Jackie feels the need to reach out to Toya, even though Toya was looking for that from Jackie. And the truth is Jackie, I think, is still holding on to Toya telling her that it was her fault that Curtis cheated because Curtis felt lonely. And that's just that on that. We then get to the whole married man comment of Toya supposedly sleeping with a married man. And Quad honestly took accountability. Quad took accountability, and she basically said, I'll let y'all know how I felt. I did perpetuate the rumor. I did have slick stuff to say about Toya because I felt like Toya hurt me, so I wanted to hurt her back. She perpetuated the rumor about me sleeping with married men. She then, and what Quad said, the reason why I said the rumor is Heavenly kind of gave the stamp of approval where Heavenly said that Simone told her that yes, Toya is in fact sleeping with a married man, but we got the wrong guy. Simone is looking at them like, no, I did not. You think I'd tell Heavenly that as someone who has social media who runs her mouth? No, I would not tell that lady that. So Quad basically says, like, I wanted to hurt you because you hurt me and you have done hurtful things. And Toya's whole thing is like, Quad, I ain't never really talked about you like that. And Quad's thing is like, yes, you have. And Toya's like, no, I have not. But now today I will. Because I was like, I didn't perpetuate that rumor. I brought it up and I said it, but I never said anything about you in that way until I heard you were saying things about me. So honestly, they were going tit for tat. That's what it seems to be. I'll give Quad that she did legit take accountability. That is what people want to hear when you say take accountability. She said, I hurt you on purpose because you hurt me, and that's that on that. And then she actually apologized. And that's just what it was. She actually apologized. And then they then begin to ask about Anila. Andy says, where do you and Anila stand? And Toya's like, girl, I don't know. Because me and Anila, I felt like we made up at Blue Ridge, kiss, kiss, hug, hug. But then I see that you and Zaina were on the couch talking about the rumor and you was telling Zaina to do the rumor. And then all of a sudden, Anila tries to make herself out to be like some victim where she was like, I got set up. Quad looking at her like, oh, you's a lie. You's a whole bold-faced lie. Because Anila says that Zaina calls her the night before or the day of the party and says, can she ride with her? Contessa is chiming in saying like, girl, you were the driver. You were the Uber driver. And y'all carpooled together. What are you talking about? So you did know she was coming because y'all rode together. So then Anila looking at Contessa like, girl, let me talk. And I was just like, And the crazy thing is, like, after watching Funky Dineva's video or interview with Contessa, Contessa don't like Anila. And I don't think it has anything to do with, I guess, race per se, because a lot of people felt like maybe that's what it was. Contessa just doesn't think Anila fits in the group, and it doesn't make sense. Contessa feels like Anila really doesn't add to the group, and you wouldn't see Anila hanging out with like Dr. Jackie or Dr. Simone or anybody else other than Quad. So it's like, what's the point of her being in the group if she's not going to fit into the group, I will say. But Anila begins to say that she didn't believe the rumor and that she's sorry that Quad, Heavenly, and I talked about her rumor. Toya gets pissed because Toya's like, girl, that's even worse. You said you didn't believe the rumor, but you're still perpetuating. Even Andy was like, yeah, that is even worse. You didn't believe the rumor and you still spoke about it. That's wild. And then Toya's like, well, girl, at least me and Eugene are good. And the guy that y'all are talking about, he knows how I feel about him. And I'm like, oh, so there is a guy? I was like, girl, so are you? But I was like, I'm going to let it go. Let it go. But Toya is right. At least her and Eugene are on solid ground, because if he really did think that she was out here cheating, he probably would have left her and would have made it worse. But it does make Anila look funny, because it's like, why perpetuate something you didn't believe? That is worse. Because if you believed it, that's different. But you don't believe it and you're still perpetuating it, that's foul. And then for Anila trying to because Anila tried to do that with Heavenly during the season, where she tried to say Heavenly was the one that kicked up the drama at Quad's party. Now you on the couch sitting next to Quad trying to say like, Quad, you lying, own it. And it's like, no, Anila, you're a pussy. And you're afraid of Toya. You're afraid of Toya. So they end there, and it's time for everybody to take a commercial break, touch up their makeup. So we see the ladies in their trailers. They focus on Anila and Quad being in their trailers. And Anila comes in going to Quad. You see Quad, they laying down them edges. She eating her salad. They retouching up her makeup. And Anila is in the trailer like, what was that? I feel like I'm being dog piled on. And Quad is just looking at her. Anila is arguing with a wall because Quad is like, what are you talking about, ma'am? What are you talking about? Anila is like, what was that? Like, what was that? I'm like, Anila, girl, you sound stupid. You sound stupid. And what it boils down to is Anila doesn't like that Quad basically threw her under the bus and put it on Front Street. That, ma'am, the rumor started honestly with you. We were at your house. They had a I guess a sleepover with a lot of the ladies in the neighborhood. Toya wasn't invited. The ladies that were in the neighborhood that got together at Anila's house got the gossiping about Toya, and that's how the rumor really exploded, because from what Quad said while they were on the stage, the stamp of approval came from Heavenly, who heard it from Simone. And so now Anila's like, are you afraid? Are you afraid of Toya? And Quad is looking at her like, girl, no. Are you? And honestly, Anila is afraid of Toya. I think Anila think Toya gonna go upside her head and hit her with a wop baba loop bop. Because honestly, it's not making sense, Anila. And this is the thing I've been noticing with Anila. Anytime Anila gets into it with Toya this season, she blames the confrontation blowing up or getting to a certain level on Toya, not on Toya, but on Heavenly or Quad. She did it with the whole situation at the at Quad's house for the Christmas party. Now they're doing it at the reunion. And Anila's like, take accountability, Quad. And Quad did take accountability. She said why she did what she did. She apologized for it because she knew it was wrong. And that was that. You're the only one that hasn't taken accountability. And you can clearly see Anila is the type of person that will only buck up to people when there's an audience or somebody backing her. Same thing with the whole Zaina thing. Her telling Zaina, well, you need to support me and you need to say that the rumor. But when she was confronted with the rumor, with Toya saying, which one of you bitches said it? I put my shoe in your face. She didn't say nothing. She was mute. And then she only said something when Toya kept going off, and then she was like, I ain't say that. You need to tell us how you effed up the group. I said, oh, girl, you're a coward. You are a coward. And it's plain to see that you are a coward. It's just crazy. It's crazy. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the men. Even though they were at the end of the episode, I have a lot to say when it comes to Heavenly and Contessa, and I know I'm long-winded, so I don't want to forget this part because it leads into next episode and the last part of the reunion, which is part 3. Well, so the men get on the stage. I thought all the men looked good. I actually thought Curtis looked nice in his red and black suit, but Scott looked a mess like his wife. I don't understand how she let that man get on stage like that, because I've told my man, no ma'am, you will not embarrass me with that outfit on. But they get on stage and the topic of the Halloween situation happens. We find out that Eugene is enjoying his job a lot more, even though it's a lot darker because he's working in hospice care, as well as I think slightly doing part-time in the ER and working in oncology. But it seems mentally he's a lot better, although he needs to work on his time management so he don't miss too much with his kids and his wife. But that's just me. So they continue and they get on the Halloween costume. We find out that it was Anila's idea to do the costumes, but it was Kieran's idea to take it a step further and do the U-Haul. I think Eugene did a good job explaining to himself how he felt. Like when he was just saying, like, everybody else thought it was funny, but I didn't think it was funny because no one likes to be the butt of a joke. Y'all know I like Kieran, but I think Kieran should have apologized and kept it moving. Like, honestly, I think he was being a dick in this moment, because it was like, the guy is telling you, like, if we're friends and I tell you, like, hey, what you did hurt my feelings, you should acknowledge that. And you should just be like, okay, man, I'm sorry, and move on, even if you think it's funny. And I'm a person that I think I have a dark sense of humor. But if I had done something to a friend and they didn't think it was funny, I would be like, dang, I didn't mean it that way, and I'm really sorry. Even if I felt like it was funny, even if I got a good laugh at it, I would still apologize, because I wouldn't want to hurt my friend or make them feel like the butt of the joke when I know I wouldn't like to be the butt of the joke. And I think the fact that Dr. Kieran or Anila can't seem to understand that says a lot about them, because it's like, y'all got offended that people thought y'all set y'all on robbery. You don't like that people are questioning you, and that kind of makes you feel some type of way. You could think the same way, that Eugene and Toya could feel the same way. We then see the ladies in the back, and Anila's trying to stick up for her husband. She was like, well, Kieran did apologize. Toya chimes in and she's like, no, she didn't. He thought it was funny, so shut up. And Anila was like, don't tell me to shut up. And Toya gave Anila this look like, girl, I'll tell you whatever I feel like it. I said, this friendship ain't coming back. I was like, oh, that's a mess. That's a mess. So it kind of ended there where Andy asks, like the episode ends out with Andy asking Kieran, like, if you've known sooner that Eugene's feelings were hurt, would you have apologized? And he was like, no. And I was like, yeah, that's a dick move, bro. That's a dick move. Also, I don't understand how Contessa is going to let Scott embarrass that man going to embarrass the mess out of himself rapping. Oh my goodness. And she in the back recording it with her phone. The embarrassment. The embarrassment. The embarrassment. The last part of this review, we're going to talk about Contessa versus Heavenly. Honestly, after watching the interview with Funky Dineva, like I said, it kind of answered some questions for me, but it kind of didn't. All I could take from it is that Contessa feels played, and she's the type of person that does not like feeling played or feeling stupid. And with Heavenly constantly calling her stupid and her feeling like she should have never been friends with Heavenly and feeling like Heavenly played her, this is why she's so angry with Heavenly. She feels like she gets played and she don't like feeling stupid. And as someone who doesn't like feeling stupid, I can understand. But I also feel like Contessa has yet to take accountability that it's not just Heavenly who question your relationship. You and Scott put yourself out there. And I also think that Contessa is having a hard time taking accountability that she set herself up. Because in that interview with Funky Dineva, Contessa even said that she should have listened to Scott. And I'm summarizing this because Scott is a private person and he did not want people to know that they were separating or had been trying to do separation or thinking about dissolving their relationship or their marriage. And now that she looks back on it, she kind of realizes that that was a misstep on her part. And I think she's having trouble accepting that, and she's making Heavenly, in a sense, the scapegoat. But even though making Heavenly the scapegoat, it does not absolve the fact that Heavenly has done things that, as a friend, it's questionable, like severely questionable. Heavenly and Contessa start going back and forth to the point where everybody is sitting on the couches, even Andy, looking at them like, wow, like they're just cussing each other out. Heavenly said the B word more than like 55 times, y'all. When I tell you, I thought she was gonna drop a mother effer in there, try to spice up the conversation. It was be this, be that, shut up, B, da 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 da, F you, B, beep, 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 beep. I was like, good God, lady. I mean, she dropped in a hoe, to give us some little razzmatazz, but she called that lady a B a lot, to the point where Contessa was like, I'm not a hoe, that's your category. Then Contessa underneath her breath saying, you better be glad that there's security. And like I said, I think Contessa just argues with her body, but I also feel like at this point, I'm tired of it. Like, either bust a grape or shut up about it. And the thing is like, Heavenly is not even a worthy opponent, because you can already tell Heavenly can't fight, and all it would take would be one mush to the face and Heavenly would be quiet or start crying in the corner at the fact that someone put their hands on her. But it's just like, stop threatening people if you're not gonna do it. Like, should they be fighting? No, because at this age, if it's not for self-defense, ain't no reason to. But I'm getting tired of her saying she gonna do something and she ain't doing it. They're just going back and forth. The scene gets broken up after they get done cussing each other out, because we have a behind the scenes scenes of Damon and Scott talking, feeling like they wish they could be back to where they were and be closer, but they got to stay in with their wives. You got Quad coming in the middle of it saying like, yo, like, Heavenly, look at me, listen to me. you're wrong. Like, you're wrong. You have lost a good friendship with Contessa, somebody that you were going on trips with because of your antics online. And Heavenly's like, I'm listening. And it's like, you're not listening. It's going in one ear and out the other. And the truth of the matter is, Heavenly does not value their friendships. The only people's friendships that she does value is Jackie and somewhat Quad's, because she did advocate for Quad to be back on the show after she got kicked off. I think she reveres Jackie the way she reveres Damon, but everybody else on the cast is expendable. Like, she does not care about them. And it's like, it sucks because friendships are important. Like, your only friend should not be your husband, because there will come a time where you need to lean on your friends more than your husband, because you know your husband might not be here. You might get a divorce. Like, there has to be more, and your husband or your wife or your partner, if you have one, should not be your sole person of comfort. There should be other people there, because your husband or your wife is not a mule to be there for you to dump all your depression and emotions on. That's what therapy is for, and they make enough money to go to therapy. But Heavenly just doesn't value them. And it's weird, because some people want to ride with Contessa, because there's a lot of people that don't like Heavenly, but it's like Contessa is trying to act like she was now on season 8 and somewhat season 7, ragging on her man. Like, what we saw with our eyes, we saw you do that. And granted, I understand your friend should not be doing that. And like Simone said, Contessa is more so upset that she felt like she was absolved from being ragged on Heavenly's channel because of how deep their friendship was. But she found out that their friendship wasn't that deep, to the point where Heavenly wasn't going, I guess, seemingly confirmed that the lady was being abused. And I think that's what's pissing Contessa off to an extent, is that you basically confirmed that I was being abused and I'm not being abused. And I think it's like Heavenly's word has merit because she's around these ladies, or she's in proximity to these ladies. So of course people are going to believe it. As well as, I don't think Heavenly's channel has been cultivated, or her comment sections is cultivated on people saying very negative and nasty things about the other cast members, and Heavenly not doing anything about it. And I think that's what the women's issues really is like, because Andy even asked, like, do y'all think she should get rid of her social media? And nobody said yes. Nobody raised their hand. I think everyone is just like, girl, like, we get it. We're on a TV show. We get it. We talk trash about each other. We say slick stuff. But on your channel, you go in. You go in, and then you expect people to still be cool with you after you go in, and after you okay your fans to go in. No one's going to be cool about that. And it's like Heavenly understands that. She just doesn't care. And I feel like at this point, come season 10, I don't want to hear about this anymore. You know Heavenly doesn't care, and at this point, just start reading her for filth back. Y'all saw the way she got so angry when she was like, y'all better not mention my husband, when she was arguing back and forth, when Contessa and her were talking about Heavenly felt like Contessa disrespected Damon. I'm like, if they started dragging Damon the way Heavenly drags their husbands, Heavenly would be sad. Heavenly would be on this show crying tears. And I just feel like they just kind of let Heavenly do what she do. And it's like, at this point, it is what it is. She gonna do what she wants. She is confirmed that she don't care, because this is not costing her money. And that's just what it is. I just think Contessa just feels like she got played, and she's one of those type of people that don't like feeling stupid. And that's why she's as angry as she is, because she feels stupid. And that's just what it is, because the reason why I've since this season started, I've looked at Contessa funny, is because I saw Contessa on Heavenly's channel going in on Toya, dogging Toya out, and even saying some disrespectful things about Simone. And it's like, you're only mad because she came at you. And you thought your friendship was deep enough where she wasn't going to come for you. And that's why it cuts deep, because you feel like you got played. Because in that interview with Funky Dineva, Contessa said much of nothing other than, I'm mad that I got played, and I feel like she embarrassed me and my husband, and could have cost my husband his job by saying he was abusive. And that's just it. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Drop down in them comments below. And remember to be bravely authentic. Deuces.